As we saw in section 7, learning embraces the entire you. It's not only your intellect that is involved when you study, but you as an entire person. That is the reason you should make sure that the entire you is prepared if you want to learn. It entails more than you realize. If you want to study well and effectively, the following are vitally important. Get enough rest. Experiments have shown that healthy patterns of sleep and enough sleep have a positive effect on academic achievements. One experiment, for example, showed that students who slept a mere 45 minutes per night longer than the control group did much better than the control group in tests involving reasoning and logic. Have balanced meals if you want to perform well. Interesting new research shows that certain kinds of food are good for the brain and therefore your cognitive capability. Good examples are fish products, fresh fruit, vegetables, and omega-3 oils. What is of basic importance is to eat regular meals. Don't skip meals and drink enough water. The impulses in the brain move considerably slower if you are dehydrated. There is evidence that by drinking water regularly while you are learning, you make it easier for the brain to function. Therefore, you make it easier for yourself to learn. Exercise and relaxation is absolutely necessary to clear the brain, to improve blood circulation, and in so doing, ensuring better brain function. Exercise is also an excellent stress releaser. Exercise goes with increased intake of oxygen. Scientists have found that increased intake of oxygen makes the pH of the blood more alkaline. This causes more effective movement and flow of messages in the brain. If you sit in a stuffy room and don't get enough oxygen, it increases the acid content of your blood, and that leads to drowsiness and slower brain function. The age-old advice to take a deep breath before an exam or making a speech or facing a challenge is therefore excellent advice, because increased intake of oxygen improves the function of the brain. An important obstacle in the learning process is an excess of stress. As early as 1973, neuroscientists found that the brain downshifts in very stressful situations. That means that the brain downshifts to the primitive parts of the brain that control the fight and flight instinct. This suppresses the higher functions of the brain that you need for learning, and this is when you strike a blank. A question frightens you, and suddenly you can't remember a thing. Your brain downshifts. It is like being chased by a bull. You don't think, don't argue with it, you just run and scale a barbed wire fence, your flight instinct. What should you learn from this? It is important not to be frightened of your lecturers, your studies, and the entire learning scene. You must view and experience it positively. Relax, because then your brain is best prepared for the challenges. Then there is upshifting to a higher gear. The more positive you are about your studies and lecturers, the less stress, tension, and negative thoughts there are, the better your brain functions. As a matter of fact, there is evidence that the brains of people who study in a childlike way, with games, laughter, humor, and joy, function most effectively. Create circumstances where you are relaxed, can breathe deeply, are happy, and where you can learn best. Now, I want to share with you a very important and powerful technique that we call an early pleasant learning experience, EPLE. This technique is designed to put the brain into a higher gear so that you have the advantage of higher brain functions. In other words, you can then utilize whole brain learning. Stand up straight and stretch your arms as high as possible while you breathe in deeply. And then touch your toes while you exhale. Do this a few times calmly and slowly. Up and breathe in deeply. Down and out. Stretch while lifting your arms and inhale deeply. Breathe out everything when you reach for your toes. Then sit straight and comfortably on a chair and close your eyes. Continue breathing calmly and deeply. While you are sitting like that, you will find it easy to conjure up a very pleasant learning experience in your mind's eye. This could be a recent experience or one of a long time ago, even when you were small. Let your mind wander to any incident where you learned or managed to do something successfully with really great joy, such as riding a bicycle for the first time, or jumping into the deep end of the swimming pool, or reciting a poem without a hitch, solving a maths problem, making a speech with ease and confidence, playing a piece of music faultlessly. Any experience where you mastered a learning challenge. Breathe calmly and deeply, allowing your mind to wander and look for an incident where you felt especially good about yourself. Savor again that early pleasant learning experience. See yourself mastering the challenge, achieving success, and take in the positive feeling you had when you got it right. Visualize the setting where it happened. Note the colors and objects. Hear the sounds. Even smell the fragrances of the environment. But above all, experience again that wonderful feeling of getting it right and being successful. Now bring those positive feelings of mastering, of I can, into your place of study. Use them as an anchor to remind yourself how easily and effectively you coped in the past. Use them to get your brain into gear for all learning challenges. And know that you really best prepare your brain for learning if you do this EPLE. Do it regularly before you start learning, before you write a test or exam, when you feel tense, and above all, to remind yourself that you can learn easily and effectively and feel good about it. Look around at your EPLE place for the last time and experience the positive feelings again. Come back slowly to the present. Become aware of the music. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Open your eyes and stretch out. Welcome back. I'm sure it was a positive experience. If you had some difficulty recalling a good EPLE, repeat the process until you have a clear experience in your mind's eye, and then do it regularly. You must not underestimate this. There are students who can testify how valuable this exercise is. It helps with relaxing, preparing for learning, and especially involving the whole brain. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. So much so that you eventually only need a minute or two before a study session or test to get yourself in the right, highest gear and the correct frame of mind. Let's summarize. Get enough sleep, eat nutritious meals regularly, drink water often, exercise regularly, breathe deeply regularly, avoid stress and anxiety, approach your studies with joy and optimism in a childlike way, and remind yourself of a positive learning experience from the past, an EPLE. Furthermore, it has been proven time and again that students who are balanced in all 6 dimensions of wellness, namely intellectual, emotional, social, physical, spiritual and career dimensions, do better academically, and prosper in their careers and lives. They live as well-balanced people. Take control of your own learning and life. In cognitive psychology, they speak of metacognition, your thoughts about your own thoughts. If you don't take responsibility, no one else is going to do it for you. You know what it means to be balanced. You know how much you have to learn. You know how hard you have to study and how to prepare your brain. You also know how much you must rest and socialize to benefit your studies. Now apply it.